What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, just another PokeTuber coach and lead coach of your Piedmont Triad Kickers, coming at you today with our Season 3 Luxury Ball SPDA Draft Analysis. It's a, SPDA Luxury Ball is another league that we've had the pleasure of being able to be in for multiple, pretty much every season has been around. As the name may or may not suggest, Luxury Ball is only but one division of, the multiple divisions that are in SPDA. But we've been with this division since it started. We went and I want to say we've had pretty successful seasons as well. We went 6-2 in our first season, 7-1 in our second season. So maybe that's a sign by progression that this might be our first 8-0 season. Is it likely? Probably not. I've actually seen my schedule, guys. I might be breaking the fourth wall with this one, but I've seen my schedule, so I just know it's not going to be that easy. But it'd be nice. It would definitely be nice. SPDA, we're here for it again, and just expect to always see us here as long as we keep getting allowed to participate. We will never turn down an invitation from this league. Pretty competitive league. As per usual, the rules, I want to say it's been the same rule. Well, not the same rules. I want to say the first part of the rules has kind of been the same all three seasons, in the sense that we get 115 points to draft 10 to 12 Pokemon. I want to say we've always had 20 points to draft 1 to 3 Terra Captains. It might have been like 16 or 18 at one point. I can't remember. But one thing that is different, we have open Terra preview now, so no more 3 Terra crystals. We pull to the game. You can bring any Terra type you want. You just have to tell your opponent about it before the game starts. It's that simple. We have 8 weeks of the regular season before playoffs. So something else has always been the same. So expect to see us, the Piedmont Triad Kickers, for the next 11 weeks. This league is upload required. However, it's not like a specific day that we have to upload these games. So more than likely, we'll just be uploading on Fridays, as long as nothing conflicts with that. Yeah. The only thing left to really talk about is like the roster, and then we get into the team, the roster this time around. So there was like a I guess a spin before like the draft order to allow people to pick where they wanted to be in the draft order. Spin might not be the right word. Either way, there was like some process of selection. We ended up getting into first place, and because of that, we went with the spot I like the most, which is number 16, even though I'd be talking down on it. I only hate 16 when I want him on really, really bad. I just know from where I'm at, it's just not going to make it to me. But this time around, I felt like we can make it work. The roster is pretty stacked. We have Sable 9, never heard of them, but we are in a couple of leagues with them, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get acquainted. A Praetor 54 is someone we get to play all the time. Love to see him. A Lucario man, love to see him. Maki, hopefully this time we finally get to run it back after such a long time. Spoiler alert, we do. There's Rose, someone else I've been in quite a few drafts in, but never had a chance to play them. But I know they're a pretty strong coach. Same for King, same for Zachmander. Oh my gosh, that guy, right? RG the Awesome, not someone I've ever been in a league with, but I'm pretty sure, one, we'll get acquainted, and two, pretty sure he's a solid guy. Or girl, not sure. Pretty sure, I don't know. Anyway, we have Goki Gamer, who I know is pretty solid. Twisted Games, pretty solid. TK Sanity, someone I've been in a couple leagues with, just never had a chance to play them, so we'll see if that'll change this time around. We have the Lazy Boy, the Homie. We have Cranks. Don't really know a lot about Cranks. We have Pokemaster 88. You guys have already seen what I had to say. You guys already heard what I had to say about Pokemaster 88. Pretty cool guy, pretty good rival. The Homie. Last but not least, we have well, I guess technically last but not least it's me, but we do have Raxos before me, and then, last but not least it's me. So, pretty crazy roster this time around. So, for my first round draft pick, how this Pokemon made it to me, I really don't even know. And on top of that, it honestly was not even on my radar. I was going to try to go for something else, but that something else just didn't really seem like something I wanted when I thought about what I wanted on the team overall. And on top of that, this Pokemon took a lot of, coaxing from a friend named Zachmander, who he talked me into this thing. At first I thought, based on the stats, it would be kind of underwhelming. Sure, it's the second fastest Pokemon on the whole board, only outsped by Regieleki. But then the rest of the stats make it seem very underwhelming, because it has base 90 stats across the board, except for an HP and speed. Speed is 180. The HP is 50. So you guys probably already know what Pokemon I'm talking about. But when I look at this thing's move pool though, like this move pool is so colorful it could make Terapagos blush. So that's why I was like, you know what? I think I could give this thing a try, especially considering we did, like, once upon a time, put in a lot of work with the Terra Cresselia. So I feel like I can make this thing work. It gets a lot of cool moves. It gets, like, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Stored Power, so we can set up that way. 180 speed, so it's going to be faster than everything, even Choice Scarfers. It has a really broken move called Psycho Boost. So if I haven't, like, already spoiled it, my first round draft pick was none other than Deoxys Speed. Never thought I'd be drafting Deoxys again. I might just use this as an excuse to use my shiny legit Deoxys because I know other people don't have shiny legit Deoxyses. Abso-freaking-lutely, but we're also here because we're trying to win. So this thing's move pool is pretty crazy. I don't really want to go into too much details because this is like my first time using this mon in this form, so I don't want to like let everyone know what I'm thinking when it comes to this mon. But this mon gets a lot of stuff and can do a lot of different things. And also, when I was a kid, Deoxys Speeds was actually my favorite Deoxys form. But of course, when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about competitive Pokemon, so we never had a chance to use it for me to know. This thing is kind of, in my opinion, like in regards to attack, normal, speed, and defense, I feel like this is probably the third best form. There's arguments to be made, I guess, I think defense is the worst. Normal is like second best, and attack is the first best because it literally just nukes everything like effortlessly. Like you just do not switch into that mon. But this mon does get, like, the move pool is crazy, and it's something that I can it has a move pool that I can appreciate. So I expect to have a pretty successful season with this thing, all things considered. Next on the team roster, I don't think this should even be a surprise to you guys because, like, I always draft this guy. He's literally the team mascot. He's literally the logo. He is literally the face of the Piedmont Triad Kickers. If I haven't spoiled it already, my second round draft pick was none other than, oops, wrong way. There we go. It's Cinderace. So we have Cinderace, who is our physical wall breaker on this team. Deoxys can be a wall... Well, let me rephrase that. Deoxys is a setup sweeper, but it's not a wall breaker. Cinderace is a wall breaker. 116 attack, 119 speed. Like, bro, we're hitting everything hard as a truck, especially considering we have Libero. And we have access to, like, 6 moves that are, like, 120 base power or higher, so we're going to hit you really, really hard. Cinderace also has setup in the forms of Bulk Up and Swords Dance, and we also get priority moves like Sucker Punch, Quick Attack, so Cinderace can do a lot. And on top of that, he also gets utility options in the forms of like Will-O-Wisp and Court Change. We also get Taunt, and then we also get Momentum with U-Turn, and if I'm not mistaken, Deoxys also gets U-Turn. I know it gets Teleport, but I want to say it also gets either U-Turn or Baton Pass, so we can pivot and stuff too. But Cinderace is mainly here to be a physical wall breaker and occasionally court change some hazards. So if you pesky people want to try to give me a bunch of hazards, I will politely hand them back to you on a golden platter with nothing but gratitude for the gift you tried to give me. I'm a man of giving, so we will definitely give them right back. But yeah, that is Cinderace. Next on the team roster is a Pokemon. So I try to get as many Pokemon I've never used before as possible, just to let you guys know, outside of obviously Cinderace. So the next mon is a mon I've never used before. Oh, and let you guys know, that kind of like 50% worked, 50% backfired. But anyway, the rest of the team. The next mon I drafted is a special wall breaker. The speed leaves a little bit to be desired because he has 101 speed. However, this thing hits like a freaking tractor, trailer, train, airplane, whatever you want to call it, because of two things. One, base 115 attack, base 125 special attack. So this thing can hit on either side of the spectrum. Mainly going to be a special wall breaker. This thing has access to the ability Sheer Force, which you can combine with Life Orb for some reason. You don't take the Life Orb chip, and now you're basically getting like what, a 60, like I want to say Life Orb plus Sheer Force gives you more of a boost than like Choice Specs or Choice Band would. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So if I haven't spoiled it already, the next one we picked up is none other than Landorus Incarnate. We've had Landorus Therian before, like in our very first draft. We just haven't had him since then. So Landorus Incarnate, special wall breaker. I don't think I really need to go into more detail than that. This thing gets like all the special coverage you could ever ask for the most part. Like it can pretty much hit anything it wants to hit. Because it's ground flying is a pretty good typing. Also helps Deoxys with that bug weakness, like U-turn weakness. And it also helps Cinderace out because it's a ground immune Pokemon. And we also get like freaking Grass Knot and Ice Beam, so we can hit ground types. Landorus gets setup moves, and it also has access to stealth rocks. And on top of that, this thing hits like a truck. So expect a lot of good things from Mr. Landorus. Next on the team roster, we saw spinners flying off the wall. Mainly to one person, like we had like one dude draft like 3 spinners. Why he did that, I do not know, but hey, that's what he picked up. Gotta respect it. So I didn't want to be stuck with only having court change, so I decided I would get a spinner, preferably one I'm familiar with. I was going to go with Donphan, but then we have Landorus, so instead of going with Donphan, I decided the next best thing we could go for is a mon that could help us with, further help with the ground. Give us a ground weakness. A ground resist. So the next mon, if it's not obvious, it's none other than Serena, who can, do a whole bunch of things. Gets rapid spin, gets U-turn, gets knockoff. We get synthesis for recovery. We have a good signature move in drop kick, so we can lower attack. Which can help because, just let you guys know in advance, we don't really have any physical walls on this team, but we do have a lot of mons with like physical bulk, and I'm talking about like the whole 11. We do have a Pokemon with physical bulk, and most of the mons I have with physical bulk, we have Serena with drop kick. We have another mon later on down the road that has Will-O-Wisp, so we're gonna be relying a lot of on natural bulk for these physical attackers, but I feel like that's not the worst thing in the world. But Serena's mainly here to be a spinner and then make use of her many forms of utility, as well as maybe use her ability Queenly Majesty to remind everybody that she's the queen. Next on the team roster is another Pokemon that I've drafted before, pretty familiar with, and he was not even on the roster. He was not even on my radar until one of my friends suggested him, and I was like, sure, why not? Next on the team roster, we have another special wall breaker in the form of Keldeo, 129 special attack, 108 speed. Also gets access to setup moves like Trailblaze and Calm Mind. And even though he has a base 92 attack stat, he also has access to Sword Stance. So theoretically, you could make use of that because 92 is good enough. Pretty good move pool to be able to hit everything. There's not really a whole lot of. There's only like 3 Pokemon I could think of that resist fighting and ground. Fighting and water. It's like Trevenant, Primarina, Azumarill. We don't fight those every week, so we should be fine in that front. But in general, Kelio's just here to be a fast special wall breaker, and like pretty much the other 5 Pokemon, like the other 4 Pokemon I have, all of them have pivoting, so momentum. We definitely have a team with a lot of momentum on it. So yeah, that's Keldeo. Next on the team roster is a we do need some bulk, so, and I decided to go with a mon that's kind of like kind of fast, also on that 100 speed tier. Wasn't really on the radar, but a friend suggested it, and it just so happens to fit my team perfectly. Also gives me a U-turn resist for Deoxys, another one I should say, because at the moment we have Keldeo and Landorus who resist U-turn. So our next round draft pick was none other than Pheasantipede, who gets, there's a lot of roll compression in Pheasantipede. Let's put it like that. You get pivoting, you get recovery, you can poison things, which basically makes Cinderace, Keldeo, Landorus, and Deoxys' jobs easier in regards to trying to sweep stuff. We get, I want to say Pheasantipede might get knockoff. I can't remember or not if it does, but I do know we get just shenanigans. We have a base 125 SPDA stat, so you're not one-shotting this thing on the special side. It's just not happening. And it has 99 speed, so it's fast enough to pivot around, spread poison, and then just come back out. And like I said, we have recovery. And then poison varies decent stab typings as well. And it also has a pretty good secondary ability in the form of Technician. So we're going to be getting the jump on stuff while doing good damage to stuff as well. So yeah, that's Pheasantipede. Next on the team roster is a Pokemon I felt like would pair pretty well with Pheasantipede, especially considering we have Landorus and Serena to help deal with our ground weaknesses. So the next on the team roster, we have none other than Gudra Hisui. So Gudra Hisui is a steel type, which pretty much helps Pheasantipede with her psychic and her steel weakness. And then also we resist poison. No, we're immune to poison, which also helps Pheasantipede because Pheasantipede is neutral. Albeit if it's like a sludge wave, Pheasantipede does not care. But if it's like a poison jab or a gunk shot, you might not want to switch Pheasantipede into that. And then Gudra in general is just a really bulky mod, 100 defense, 150 speed F, and it also hits pretty hard, 110 special attack. So Gudra has really, so Gudra doesn't really have any like recovery moves, but we could like use like Serena for like Leech Seed or something like that to help out with that. And then Gudra, has good natural bulk. Like you're not killing this thing in one hit. It's just probably not going to happen. And then on top of that, I guess by virtue of being a dragon, this thing's like move pool is pretty like it's pretty wide. It can hit with a lot of different coverage moves. I've been wanting to use Gudra Hisui for a while. I've never had a chance to. Now I finally get a chance to. So just know we plan to have fun without Gudra. Next on the team roster, so as you guys can tell, we have no Terra Captains so far. So we need to start picking up some Terra Captains, especially considering we only had 4 picks left. So for my first Terra Captain, I decided to go with a Mon that I've been trying to get, but it feels like it always eludes me. It's none other than Terra Electros. So this Mon, another Mon that has a lot of pretty colorful move pool, a lot of different setup moves, a lot of different. This thing can do a lot of different things. It can hit physically, it can hit specially. It has good bulk on the physical and the special side. It gets recovery in the form of Drain Punch. We get setup moves. We can paralyze things. This thing is an electric type that's immune to ground because of Levitate, so it virtually has no weaknesses. And then I can also use that with like different Terra types that would also be weak to ground, but now we're immune because of our ability. Nothing outside of a Mold Breaker Earthquake can even hit this thing super effectively, and so yeah, me, Electros, we gonna have fun. Next on the team roster is another Terra Captain. It helps with my speed tiers. It gives me another form of hazard removal, so we have 3 forms of hazard removal. Spoiler alert, guys, it is not Mousehold, but it's something very close to Mousehold, arguably better. It's none other than Cinccino. We have Terra Cinccino. Because of like what we have already on the top of the team, like most of the team can help like set up a Cinccino sweep at the end of the game, but Cinccino can also help with removing hazards. It also has a good enough move pool that it can pair with Skill Link, its ability, or Technician, and then just do crazy damage to the opponent, because Skill Link lets us hit like all of our multi-hit moves for the max amount, and then Technician just boosts those moves. So depending on which ability we want to run, Cinccino can be very threatening offensively. And in general, I've just been trying to use this thing. I had it in SPDA Season 1, but I only had it for like 2 weeks, so I don't really count that. So this is going to be our first full experience with Cinccino, and hopefully we can have fun. Next on the team roster is, well, we wanted speed control for Landorus and Keldeo in particular, so we decided to get our trusty webs. You guys are probably used to seeing this guy on the team. It's none other than Spidops. He's just here to set webs and set other hazards and phase things out and U-turn. If it's not obvious, like almost everything on my team has like pivoting, except for like Gudra and I think Electros. I can't remember, but it's really just Gudra and the last Pokemon I'm gonna get into. But yeah, Spidops is just here to set webs. Next on the team roster, so we needed a Ghost type, but we did need a Dark type. And there was a Mon that fits both of those things. And I also feel like it can make a pretty solid Terra Captain, even though some people would disagree with me. I feel like this thing has potential. Next on the team roster is none other than Terra Spiritomb. So Spiritomb has really good natural bulk. It has, ways to stay alive. It can Will-O-Wisp things. It can Pain Split. It gets Sucker Punch. It gets Nightshade. It gets a whole lot of shenanigans. Let's put it like that. It wasn't really like one of my first thoughts, but once we get to this part of the draft, we have limited points. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and I feel like Spiritomb has a lot of potential, despite what some people might think. But yeah, guys, that is the team. I've said everything that needed to be said, so without further ado, thank you everybody for tuning in. Hopefully we can give you guys a pretty successful season. That's what we're aiming for. And once again, thank you for tuning in. So if you haven't done so already, please remember to like and subscribe. And until next time, which should be like a week from now, 2 weeks from now, something like that. But yeah, until next time, peace out.